Hi friend, what's up? Today, I'm going to explain a drama war film called The Beguiled. This depicts the pitfalls of different kinds of desire through a lone soldier finding himself in a school for girls. Spoilers ahead, watch out and take care. 3 years into the Civil War in Virginia, 1864, Union soldier Corporal John McBurney finds himself hiding in the woods, unable to move because of his injured leg. When Amy comes across him while picking up mushrooms, the little girl doesn't hesitate to offer him help. Amy tells McBurney that she can take him to her school on the other side of the woods. With McBurney asking if there are any men there, Amy explains that there are only 2 teachers and 4 students at the Miss Martha Farnsworth Seminary for young ladies. While Amy isn't sure if McBurney will be welcomed there as a Yankee, she assures him that it's a better place than the forest. Clearly, Amy's been taught well by her teachers how she helps a stranger without question out of the goodness of her heart. As an innocent little girl, Amy doesn't even think about the danger that the soldier could pose. All she wants to do is help a man in need, and in times of war, help is hard to come by. With no other choice, McBurney accepts Amy's invitation, and the little girl helps him as he walks. Along the way, McBurney learns that Amy's teacher only kept their school open because they don't have anywhere else to go. When Amy asks him if he ran away, McBurney only tells her that he got separated from his group after they got hit. Upon reaching the Farnsworth Seminary, the exhausted soldier finally passes out. Amy calls Miss Martha and the rest for help, and they're all ambivalent towards the soldier's presence there. Still, they take him to the porch, where they argue whether they should help him or not. Miss Martha orders Amy to get their blue rag and tie it to the gate, which will let the patrol know they've captured a live Yankee. However, Miss Edwina thinks they should tend to his wound first, so Miss Martha says they'll wait until McBurney's injury is healed before they decide what to do with him. They then take him inside, where Miss Martha removes all the metal shards from his wound before sewing it. After tending to the wounded soldier's needs, Miss Martha and Miss Edwina leave the room and find their 5 students waiting for them outside. Amy informs them of the soldier's name, but Miss Martha says his name won't matter since he'll be leaving soon. As Martha cleans McBurney's body, Miss Edwina and the students proceed with their sewing class. The bell rings, signifying the approaching patrol. Miss Martha talks to the captain but doesn't tell him about McBurney. Instead, she asks him for an extra cartridge for her revolver, saying she'll feel safer if she knows that she can use it. Despite Miss Martha's initial decision to turn McBurney over to the patrol, her fright and reluctance affected her judgment. Her frequent glancing towards the school is a small tell of her nerves, but she keeps a calm facade and gives nothing away. Keeping McBurney there may be a problem, but she is still curious and concerned, seeing as she kept her mouth shut about him. Back inside the school, Miss Martha loads her gun before hiding it again. Meanwhile, Miss Edwina scolds Amy for secretly talking to McBurney. The girls are having breakfast the next day, and Alicia asks Amy how McBurney is, to which Amy answers that he's fine. On the other hand, Jane is annoyed that she can't practice in the music room because of McBurney, but Miss Edwina tells her that the soldier will stay there for as long as he needs to. The teachers and the students carry on with the regular activities, and when it's time for Miss Martha to clean McBurney's wound, she makes it clear to the man that she doesn't like his presence in her school. She asks him if he's not afraid that she'll turn him over to the soldiers, and McBurney says he isn't. McBurney thinks there are far worse things that could happen to him, and he believes he would have been dead already if it wasn't for her. In spite of McBurney's expressions of gratitude, Miss Martha remains cold and reminds him that he's not their guest, but rather a most unwelcome visitor. McBurney understands where Miss Martha is coming from, but he still tries to be friendly towards her. When Alicia comes and asks Miss Martha if she needs any help, the teacher instructs her to inform the other students that the music room is off limits. Before Miss Martha leaves, McBurney politely asks if she could give him some soap and a razor. The tension between McBurney and Miss Martha rises when the teacher expresses how discomforted she is by his presence. Alicia, however, is very interested in the corporal and finds ways to be close to him. When McBurney is finally left alone, he chuckles, showing that he's enjoying the attention he gets. One day, Mary visits McBurney in the music room to bring him a prayer book. and she makes sure to wear a set of pearl earrings. When Mary leaves, Miss Edwina sees her on a way out and asks why she's wearing her earrings. The little girl tries to be smart, saying everyone has dressed up that morning, but Miss Edwina wants her jewelry back. Mary then promises to return it, and when Miss Edwina tells the girl to get back to her work, McBurney calls her. And despite her hesitance, Miss Edwina enters the music room, bringing the razor and soap that McBurney asks for. While the teachers and students are anxious because of McBurney, they're still thrilled to have a man in their school. It's not every day that the ladies get to talk to a good-looking soldier, so each one of them has their own strategy on how they'll be noticed by the corporal. Soon after McBurney's arrival, the ladies have started to change the way they dress, even wearing conspicuous pieces of jewelry just to stand out. When Miss Edwina notices the soldier's dirty nails, McBurney admits that he thought of burying himself in the middle of chaos and battle. However, he failed, so he ran away instead. Miss Edwina doesn't find that brave, and while McBurney agrees, he believes that what he did was smart and gave them a chance to meet each other. As she cleans his wound, Miss Edwina shares that her father is from Richmond, and she left Savannah when she was young. Fascinated, McBurney keeps asking Miss Edwina questions about her life, wondering how someone like her ended up in that school. McBurney thinks she's waiting for his sweetheart to return from the war, but Miss Edwina tells him she doesn't have anyone in the military. Being bold, McBurney tells her that he's never come across such beauty as hers. He then takes her hand and asks what her greatest wish is, and Miss Edwina admits that she wishes someone would take her away from that place. A little embarrassed, the teacher leaves and lingers outside the room, trying to gather herself. Miss Edwina is on her guard the whole time she's talking to McBurney, barely meeting the soldier's eyes and careful not to stir her feelings. On the other hand, McBurney boldly displays his attraction towards her, making the teacher uneasy. As Miss Edwina remains by the door, it is apparent that she is trying so hard to restrain herself from doing anything she might regret later. During the evening prayer, Alicia excuses herself and asks Miss Martha if she could use the bath closet. However, instead of going there, she heads to the music room and finds McBurney sleeping. Without hesitation, Alicia kisses McBurney on the lips and wakes him up before quickly going back to join the others in their prayer. As Alicia's curiosity gets the best of her, it becomes clear that she'll do anything to get McBurney's attention. Unwilling to leave any room for competition, she audaciously makes the first move on the corporal before the other girls can. Luckily for Alicia, she manages to pique the corporal's interest. The next day, while having dinner, the teachers and students discuss what they might learn while McBurney stays with them. Alicia says the sight of McBurney will remind them that there's something else in the world beyond their lessons. But Miss Martha disagrees with her, saying that learning lessons at a young age can help them attain a calm and happy life. When it's Jane's turn to talk, she tells them that McBurney will constantly remind them that the war is still going on and they should keep praying. The other girls share their thoughts too, and when Miss Edwina says she finds McBurney to be a sensitive person, Miss Martha asks her to share more of her findings with them. Miss Martha then informs them that they will join the corporal after dinner for prayer, and everyone agrees with her. Here it is apparent that Alicia and Miss Edwina both have their eyes set on McBurney. From the way they talk about him, it is undeniable that they like the man. Although the other students are curious about McBurney too, they don't speak of him with such adoration the way Alicia and Miss Edwina do. After dinner, the teachers and the students head to the music room to share a prayer with the soldier. Miss Martha then asks Jane to play the piano for them, and before the girls start singing, McBurney praises her for playing beautifully. As the students sing, the teachers can't help but feel a bit distracted by McBurney's presence. All of a sudden, they hear a loud pounding on the door, and Miss Martha instructs Miss Edwina to stay with the girls while she checks who their visitor is. Before leaving, Miss Martha also adds that she'll rap on the door 3 times to let them know if it's the enemy soldiers at their gates, and Miss Edwina says they'll go to the woods and meet her there if that's the case. Amy is concerned about McBurney, but Miss Martha says he'll leave to stay behind since he's not well yet. Miss Martha leaves for a while, and when she returns, she assures everyone that the soldiers are 2 of their own and they have offered them their assistance. The soldiers are eating some food in the kitchen, and Miss Martha tells the ladies that she hasn't informed the soldiers about McBurney yet. Once again, Miss Martha had her chance to tell the soldiers about McBurney, but she didn't. Instead, she lets them inside her school, acting as if she's not harboring a deserter. Whether Miss Martha is letting McBurney stay with them out of her kindness or guilt, Miss Edwina and the girls ashore are relieved that McBurney isn't leaving yet. However, Miss Martha intends to ask the soldiers to take McBurney with them, and Amy is quick to protest, saying McBurney can't ride without hurting his legs. Miss Martha says she'll tell the soldiers that McBurney is still injured and just ask them to come back, but that will take a long time. After arguing over what they should do with their visitor, Miss Martha makes the final decision of letting McBurney stay with them only until he's recovered. Defeated, the girls agree with Miss Martha's plan and they all go back to their rooms. Before leaving McBurney alone, Miss Martha asks him if he'd like to join her for a brandy when she returns, and McBurney says he'd like that very much. Being the one to find McBurney in the woods, Amy expresses the most genuine concern about the corporal. She's worried about what will happen to him, and it's not because she likes romantically, but because she considers him to be her friend. When all the girls retire for the night, McBurney eventually shows his disappointment about Miss Martha's decision. When the two soldiers finally leave, the girls quietly discuss how long they think McBurney will stay with them. Meanwhile, Miss Martha and McBurney talk about the girls' life at school, with McBurney expressing his admiration for her dedication to them. Miss Martha admits that although she gets tired sometimes, she believes that she needs to give the girls what they need to survive in the war. Out of the blue, McBurney asks Miss Martha if she had anyone before the war, and the teacher says she did. McBurney doesn't push Miss Martha to talk about that person, but instead he just apologizes to her. He then tells her that he was a coward to leave, but Miss Martha isn't judging him. McBurney shares that he was fresh off the boat from Dublin when he took $300 to take another man's place, but Miss Martha understands him and says everyone has done things out of their character. Miss Martha says she'll see to it that he'll find his way home, and even though he clearly doesn't want to leave, McBurney keeps quiet about it. During their conversation, McBurney tries to win Miss Martha over by repeatedly complimenting her about her work, and he fails. He then tries to get her sympathy by saying he only joined the war so he could have some money, but that doesn't work either. Judging by the look on his face, McBurney is fighting the urge to tell Miss Martha that he has no intention of fighting in the war again. In the morning, Amy provides a cane for McBurney and he is grateful for it. As he practices walking around, Amy calls Miss Martha to show what she has done for the corporal, and Miss Martha tells McBurney not to force himself. When McBurney loses his balance, Miss Martha catches him just in time. McBurney then asks Amy to help him go outside, and on their way out, Alicia reminds the young girl that it's her turn in the kitchen garden. When Amy says she's helping the corporal, Alicia offers to relieve her, but Miss Martha tells them to stop arguing. Once outside, McBurney notices that the roses need pruning and volunteers to do it, but Miss Martha won't let him. Amy then asks if he's had gardening experience, and when the corporal says he's done a bit of it, Miss Martha resigns and asks him to assist him when he recuperates. Thankfully, McBurney says he'll be happy to do it, and Amy and Miss Martha go back inside. McBurney's injury doesn't stop him from attaining his goal of staying there. His insistence on helping Miss Martha with her garden is just the front he puts to hide his cowardice to leave, and the teacher sees right through him. However, Miss Martha still lets him do what he wants, and the corporal must be relieved that he finally has a reason to stay. McBurney starts working in the garden as soon as he feels better. Late in the afternoon, Miss Martha thanks McBurney for his hard work in the garden. She then asks to see his wounded leg, and after checking it, she tells McBurney that he's almost healed. McBurney asks if she wants him to go, and even though she says she doesn't, Miss Martha thinks it would be better if he leaves by the end of the week. Surprised, McBurney asks Miss Martha where he should go, but the teacher says that's entirely his business. He then expresses his desire to just stay there and tend to their garden, but the teacher can't be swayed. Just when McBurney thought he's safe, his plan was suddenly jeopardized. This time, McBurney fails to maintain his composure, revealing his temperamental side. Once again, he tries to reason with the teacher to let him stay, only proving how scared he is to go back to the outside world. Inside the school, Amy informs Alicia and Emily that Miss Martha has asked McBurney to leave, making the girls feel sad and worried. They then think of ways to stop McBurney's departure from happening, like suggesting to Miss Martha that the corporal join them for dinner. When Miss Edwina visits McBurney in the music room, the corporal The corporal boldly tells her that he misses being near her. Miss Edwina tells him she doesn't want him to go, and McBurney holds her hand, confessing that he loves her. Confused, Miss Edwina asks him not to say that unless he means it, but the corporal insists he's telling the truth. He felt this way from the moment they spoke, but he was afraid that Miss Edwina might push him away. He confesses to being a tired man who's tired of the war, and he just wishes to see the West. Miss Edwina says that her father can help him once he goes to Richmond, and McBurney asks her to come with him. Unable to control herself, Miss Edwina gives in to the soldier's charms and kisses him, but they are interrupted by Alicia, who asks McBurney to join them for supper. In a desperate move, McBurney used Miss Edwina's affection for him just so he could stay there. The teacher unfortunately fell for the corporal's sweet words easily. Clearly, she has been lonely for so long that she would instantly believe a stranger's words. Miss Edwina is so infatuated with McBurney that she fails to see him for who he really is. Everyone dresses up nicely for dinner, and the girls continue to vie for the corporal's attention. After eating, McBurney asks Miss Edwina if he could see her later in the evening. But before she could answer, Miss Martha invites him to join her in having some digestive. As they talk, McBurney once again expresses his desire to stay with them as their gardener, but Miss Martha doesn't say anything. When it's finally time for bed, Miss Martha takes McBurney to his room, and the two almost kiss if it isn't for the girl's noise. Miss Martha then takes her to leave, and once everyone is asleep, Miss Edwina puts on a nice nightgown and makes herself look presentable as she waits for McBurney. However, McBurney doesn't show up. When Miss Edwina decides to look for him, she finds the corporal in Alicia's bed. Hurt, Miss Edwina backs away from McBurney as he tries to explain himself, only to push him down the stairs by accident. Alerted by the commotion, everyone gets out of their rooms, and Miss Martha realizes that McBurney has broken his already injured leg. With Miss Martha asking to know what happened, Alicia lies about McBurney attacking her and Miss Edwina fighting him off, believing Alicia's story. Miss Martha asks the girls to help her carry the soldier to the table. Once there, Miss Martha orders the students to return to their rooms before informing Miss Edwina that they need to cut McBurney's leg. Although Miss Edwina vehemently disagrees with Miss Martha, she obeys her and leaves the room to fetch the things they need for the amputation. This isn't the first time Alicia shows that she's willing to go to great lengths to get what she wants, especially when she feels threatened. When she saw McBurney focusing his attention on Miss Edwina, she made sure that the corporal would come to her bed instead of her teacher's. Sadly for the three, their strong desire for one another is so rotten that it led to a horrible accident. The next day, McBurney wakes up and realizes that his leg has been amputated. His screams bring Miss Edwina to his room, and as she tries to talk to him, McBurney accuses her and Miss Martha of punishing him for not going to their rooms instead. Miss Edwina expresses how sorry she is, and even though Miss Martha insists that the amputation saved his life, the corporal won't hear her. Enraged, McBurney yells at them to leave and bring him something for the pain. As the women leave, they make sure to lock McBurney inside the room. McBurney continues to wail the whole day, and while the girls worry about what they should do, Miss Martha thinks it would be unwise if they let him go. He could tell the other men of their garden and cow and lead them to the school. Alicia then visits McBurney when he finally comes down, but the man isn't in the mood to talk to her. He then demands Alicia to bring him the key to his room, and when she refuses, he grabs her by hair and eventually makes her do his bidding. Finally, with McBurney unraveling, he's starting to show his true colors. He isn't the charming man everyone thought of he was. Of course, losing a leg is a tragedy for most people, but McBurney is so self-absorbed that he believes his amputation to be a conspiracy against him by bitter and jealous women. Still, Alicia keeps visiting the corporal in his room, proving she's unbothered by his outbursts. Later on, as Jane goes down the stairs, McBurney asks her to come into his room. Although she's a little scared, Jane listens to McBurney as he begs her to put a good word for him with Miss Martha and the others. McBurney wants Jane to ask Miss Martha to let him stay, and when Jane says she will, she hurriedly leaves and locks the door. Later that day, McBurney manages to escape from his room and get a gun. With the girls frightened, Miss Martha tells McBurney that they will assist him as he leaves, but the corporal makes it clear that he'll only go when he wants to. He keeps claiming that Miss Edwina pushed him off the stairs and Miss Martha amputated his leg because he didn't visit them in their rooms that night. Amy tries to calm him down, but the soldier has changed and he even throws Amy's pet turtle away. He then starts drinking and breaking stuff, and when he leaves, Miss Martha instructs Amy to tie the blue rag to the gate. Unfortunately, McBurney catches Amy and chases her into the woods. McBurney must have felt betrayed, for Amy was the first person among the ladies to show him kindness. He probably doesn't expect the little girl to turn against him because she's always been the one to stand up for him against Miss Martha. Even though he genuinely likes Amy, McBurney is forced to stop her from doing her task. The girl screams and Miss Martha goes to check on her. To her horror, Miss Martha finds Amy with McBurney in the barn. With the corporal threatening her with a gun, Miss Martha asks him to join them inside the school. There, McBurney orders everyone to sit down before promising them he meant them no harm. He pained and frustrated over his amputated leg, and he asserted that he'd rather be dead than be a man without a leg. He asked Miss Martha why she didn't just kill him when she got the chance, and when she doesn't answer, he tells them how much he regrets trusting them. He then threatens to shoot anyone who disobeys him, and as he's about to leave, McBurney shoots down the chandelier just to prove a point. Miss Edwina tries to go after McBurney, but when Miss Martha stops her, she pushes her to the couch and goes to McBurney's room. Miss Edwina blocks the door with the table before making a move on McBurney. The man pins her to the floor and he makes love to her. Meanwhile, Miss Martha and the girls continue to think of how they'll get rid of the corporal, and Mary suggests they serve him with poisoned mushrooms. It's incredible to see the effects of a single man could have on these girls' lives. After all that McBurney done and shown them, Miss Edwina's affection for him doesn't change. She even disregards Miss Martha's wish that she stay away from her soldier, showing that she's done obeying Miss Martha's orders. And now, the students and Miss Martha were forced to come up with their plan, proving that a dangerous situation can force a good person's hands to do something unimaginable. During dinner, McBurney gets himself a serving of the poisoned mushrooms. Miss Edwina is also about to eat them, but Amy manages to stop her. As soon as McBurney eats the mushrooms, he starts having difficulty breathing. It isn't long before he collapses on the floor and dies. Miss Edwina looks at Miss Martha and the girls, bewildered over what happened, but they don't seem to be bothered at the incident. Later on, Amy ties the blue rag to the gate, then helps the other girls sew a shroud for McBurney's body. Miss Edwina mourns the death of the corporal, but she doesn't say a word about it. When they are finally done, the teachers and the girls place McBurney's body outside their gate for the patrol to see. In the end, The Beguiled shows us that God-fearing women aren't always weak and innocent. They can be fearless and manipulative too, especially when they have their backs against the wall. On the other hand, not all men are brave. They too can be cowards who will do anything to survive. Still, war is a force of its own that can distort people into unrecognizable iterations of themselves. It fuels simple desires and twists them into something terrifying. From McBurney desiring to live in peace away from the war to the girls' desire to experience something beyond the limbo of their school, everyone just wanted something more. But at the end of it all, McBurney still died young and the girls remained in their school. So friends, did you like the video? If you like the video, you must like and comment. And to get all these awesome movies, subscribe to my channel and turn on the bell icon next to it.